a spectacular event that the city of New Orleans has been so very fortunate to be able to host. It's called Navy Week. We have with us Council President Jackie Clarkson, Councilmember Kristen Palmer is with us, and we have a number of very distinguished guests that have joined us today. Admiral John Scorby, who's the U.S. Navy Commander of Navy Region Southeast, Captain Thomas Kay, Coast Guard District 8, Commander Tom Regal, U.S. Navy Expeditionary Strike Group Number 2. Nice to see you. Mark Romig, who is the chair of our host committee, and we have some other dignitaries with us. And we're here to kick off Navy Week, which is going to be April 17th to the 23rd. This is going to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the War of 1812 and the Star-Spangled Banner. As everybody knows, the war ended 3 years later in the great city of New Orleans. That's why we say New Orleans is really the center of the universe as it relates to the rest of the world. And we are very happy to have been chosen as the first host city. This event is actually going to take place all across the United States of America, but it's coming to New Orleans first. And it is going to be a spectacular event. It's going to be a 3-year celebration across the nation. It starts here. Our partners have been unbelievable. In the military, the Marine and the Coast Guard. We also have the nations of Canada, France, England, Indonesia, and Ecuador. It is going to be a world-class lineup of events. It's going to involve tall ships, Navy vessels, a Blue Angel air show, and it is the result of incredible collaboration between and amongst the Navy, Operation SAIL, and the local host committee that Mark Romig has worked so hard on and has led. So I want to thank all of them for the great collaboration that has resulted in this unbelievable presentation that the people of New Orleans are going to be able to see. As I've said many years, 2012 is an opportunity once again for the great city of New Orleans to shine. The special events that have taken place here in the last couple of months have been extraordinary, and they continue to go on with the Final Four coming up shortly. And then right after that, we have Navy Week, and then we move into Essence Jazz Festival, and it just goes on. And as you know, it's going to culminate in the 2013 Super Bowl, which will put New Orleans on the world stage once again. And as I've said a number of different times, we're preparing for that in a very aggressive way with the creation of the hospitality zone, the renovations that are going on at the airport. We have hotels that are going through major renovations right now, and we're going to really spruce up the city in a way that makes us look as good as we have ever looked. So it reminds us of not only New Orleans' place in history, but what we've done and actually to promote freedom. And the men and women that are standing behind me right now are the physical embodiment of the notion that freedom is not free, that it requires a tremendous sacrifice at home and abroad, and they continue to put themselves in harm's way. And we're so very thankful to have been chosen to help them work with us to commemorate this special event. Freedom is as important today as it was 200 years ago. It's something that we have to fight for every day. We have to remember it every day, and we have to honor it every day. So this commemoration puts New Orleans right in the middle of being a place that embodies the spirit of freedom. And I am so very thankful for everything that all of you have done and all that you're about to do. So I thank you for being here. And now I'd like to hand it over to Council Member at Large Clarkson, and then we'll go to Admiral John Scorby from the U.S. Navy. Councilmember Clarkson.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I'm very proud to stand here before you on behalf of the City Council and tell you that this is one of the most important events the city will ever have, in spite of the fact that it's falling in the middle of world-class events already. And it'll still top the list because this is an international event that reminds the world that New Orleans has always been a first-class military support city. And it's not something that people consciously remember about us. And it's something we'll remind them we have always been there since 1812. I mean, we changed history many times through our military presence in this country. And in World War II, we were a major port. And we have been a major source of military billions of economic impact coming to this city, and most importantly, having the desire to return or stay because we're such a wonderful city to retire in. From Boy Scouts to boardrooms, the military has played a significant role in our civilian community, and we can't thank them enough. Welcome, Navy Week. we're always so proud, as we have always been for 200 years, for you to be a part of our community.
Thank you. Y'all will help me welcome Admiral John Scorbin.
Well, Mayor Landrieu, Councilwoman Clarkson, thank you very much for opening up your city and for that kind and wonderful introduction. Now, as the commander of Navy Region Southeast, I'm absolutely thrilled that the inaugural event for the commemoration of the bicentennial of the War of 1812 is in my region and in the great city of New Orleans. And as I'm sure you know, the Battle of New Orleans took place in January 1815 and was the final major battle of the War of 1812. British soldiers that were intent on capturing New Orleans and having access to the vast Louisiana Purchase were defeated by American soldiers under the command of General Andrew Jackson. And this battle is widely viewed as the greatest American land victory of the war. Now, the War of 1812 was largely a naval battle, and the war served as the U.S. Navy's first trial by fire. In 1812, we had an exceptional officer corps of warfighters. Today's Navy has been honed and combat tested by many global conflicts. In 1812, U.S. Navy frigates fought the British from the coast of England to the southwestern tip of South America. And today, our Navy maintains a global maritime presence, remaining at the front lines of our nation's efforts in war and in peace. And in 1812, innovative ship designers created superior fighting ships, crewed by sailors who outfought the British Navy. And today, our warfighters are the most capable and flexible force in the world. The War of 1812 commemoration events are going to take place in 14 cities, and it's going to begin right here in New Orleans on the 17th, and it will conclude with a commemoration of the Battle of New Orleans again in January of 2015. And we are extremely excited to showcase our ships, our sailors, our Marines to this great city. And I know that the sailors are very excited to make this port a call. Now, while here, we're going to have ship visitations. We'll have visiting sailors engaged in a variety of friendly sporting competitions. We're going to do a seafood cook-off, and we'll have some regional outreach and some community service projects for our visiting sailors. And we hope that the citizens of New Orleans will take this opportunity to visit our ships and interact with sailors from around the world. And in so doing, I have no doubt that you'll see that our sailors, our Marines, and Coast Guardsmen carry on the proud traditions begun 200 years ago during the War of 1812, keeping our sea lanes free by always keeping warfighting first, operating forward, and always being ready. So thank you, Mayor Landrieu, and thank you for your hardworking staff who I know have been working extremely hard behind the scenes to put this event together. I know it will be a wonderful event, and I know that our sailors and Marines are proud to be here and they're looking forward to the 17th. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Council President, Admiral, thank you. The Coast Guard is very excited about participating in this important historical event. We have a long history in working with the Navy and also working with the city of New Orleans. We have a long presence here. The Coast Guard played a significant role during the War of 1812. Specifically, we had shallow draft schooners that assisted the Navy frigates and got to areas where the water was too shallow for their larger vessels to go into. We'll have the Coast Guard cutter Eagle present. It's a 295-foot, three-masted tall ship. It'll be open for tours down along the riverfront, along with a coastal patrol boat. We welcome the public to come and visit those. We will have reenactors dressed in period attire, and they will be present to illustrate the historic missions of the Coast Guard and how those historic missions relate into today's modern Coast Guard. A Coast Guard historian will be conducting presentations throughout the city. We'll also have the Coast Guard Band and the Coast Guard Honor Guard to perform at various venues throughout the city. And Coast Guard aircraft will participate in the air show along with the Blue Angels and many other Navy and other military aircraft. So we look forward to a fun, a very successful, and educational celebration of the War of 1812. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much. So, Mander.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Again, Mayor, Councilwoman, thank you very much. Navy and Marine Corps team is very excited about being a part of this great event. We have remarkable sailors and Marines that I know are looking forward to getting out into the community and interacting with the great people of New Orleans. Navy will be bringing 4 ships to the city. As you can see over here, the USS Wasp, which is an amphibious ship, the USS Gettysburg, which is a Aegis cruiser, the USS Michener, which is a destroyer, and the USS DeWitt, which is a frigate. Also joining us on board the Wasp will be members of the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit out of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. All told, we'll have about 2,000 sailors and 250 Marines that will be enjoying the city for the time period while we're here. In addition, we'll have warships from Great Britain, France, Canada, and tall ships from Indonesia and Ecuador that will be visiting the city during that time frame, or during the time frame. That time frame is going to be April 17th. The ships will be arriving on April 17th and leaving on April 23rd. Each of the days while the ships are here will be open for general public visitation on each of the ships. So there'll be a great opportunity for the city of the folks of New Orleans to get out and visit the ships. Additionally, each day there'll be numerous community relation projects that our sailors and Marines will be involved in throughout the city. These projects will range from working on a number of area improvement projects to speaking at numerous engagements, both at local schools and public events throughout the city. Each event will provide the citizens of New Orleans a great opportunity to meet and talk with our sailors and Marines, these great young Americans who every day protect the many freedoms that we have, just as the Navy has done for the last 200 years. The week will culminate in the air show on both Saturday and Sunday, which will be headlined by the Navy's Blue Angels. And the air show will be over Lake Pontchartrain and will be viewable from Pontchartrain Park. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Mark Roming.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council President, Admiral, Captain, and Commander. I would like to keep my remarks brief and really just mention the hard work that the host committee has been doing over the past several months. Planning is underway. We're in the middle of fundraising because we promised the mayor that we would make this event pay for itself, and we're going to hold ourselves to that.
I also like the part that you got a vessel named the USS Mitcher. That's a great idea.
As you can see, it's laid out to make it easily accessible to our citizens and visitors along the east bank of the river. You can go to NOLANavyweek.com. That's our website for people to get more information about how to make the visits. The morning will be put aside for groups and school kids. The afternoon will be public touring. There'll be great opportunity for people just to come down to the Waldenberg Park area. We're working with the Audubon Nature Institute to partner with them to make sure that that area is as accessible as possible. And there'll be merchandise for sale so that you'll have some opportunities to bring some souvenirs home as well. We are going to be reaching out to the various communities around the lakefront, including neighborhood association meetings, to make sure that they're communicated with as it relates to the air show and the elements that will occur with the air show. We're also working with UNO and the Southern University of New Orleans for parking arrangements. So we want to make this as easily gotten to, accessed very easily, and enjoyable as possible, because we really believe that the air show will bring in the thousands of people that we expect to watch it along the shores of Lake Pontchartrain. This is an exciting time for the city of New Orleans. We think this is going to be another piece of that icing on the cake that the mayor has spoken to about what makes 2012 so special as we head into 2013. And we promise you, sir, that we will put on the best week we can.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. Again, just to reiterate my thanks to the men and women who serve our country, and for the sacrifice that you make. Also to Mark and to the host committee. I mean, a lot of people have been working on this for a substantial number of months. And, of course, with all these major events that come in, none of them work if the citizens of New Orleans don't participate. So it's really important and very thankful. You'll see that with the Super Bowl. All of these public-private partnerships mean the government and the private sector, and private being individuals that give so much of their time and their effort. And this event's going to be planned well. And, again, I want to put an exclamation point on what sometimes we take for granted. The city of New Orleans, this little bitty city that was underwater 6 years ago, continues to be chosen in national and international competition by the best that the world has to offer as a place that stands out on many, many fronts. Jeff Immelt from GE, one of the biggest corporations in the world, chose the city of New Orleans after a competition This is not something people gave us, something that we competed for, to put 300 new jobs here. We competed with all of the cities in America for the Super Bowl, and we won. On this Navy ship and Navy Week piece, we competed with other cities in the United States of America, and 14 were chosen. And New Orleans continues to punch much, much higher than their weight, which continues to show probably one of the greatest comeback stories that an American city has seen in some time. So we're very, very thankful that you guys see a great value in us. As Jackie has so eloquently said and so passionately said for so many years of her life, the military in Louisiana has a huge presence. If my numbers are correct, I think that it has a statewide impact of $15 billion. And that particularly in the New Orleans area with Federal City, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, all of the branches, the Merchant Marine, have been really critical players to what the texture of New Orleans is. And so many of us do remember the War of 1812. Some of us were there. And it's a very important part of our history. We remember it, and we revere it, and we understand what role the city of New Orleans played in preserving freedom for the rest of America. And so I thank all of you for being invested in this project. It's really going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great. It's going to encompass the entire city, and it's going to be a great reflection on the people of New Orleans as well. So thank you all very much, and we'll be happy to answer any questions if we can. Nancy, anybody? Yes, ma'am.
How many people do you think this is going to draw into the city?
Mark, why don't you take that?
Talk about the projects that the Navy folks are going to be working on.
We expect, because we already have 2 large conventions in town, that we'll have a good amount of visitation in the city already. We're coming off the heels of the French Quarter Fest, so this begins really the day or 2 after that ends. I would expect you're going to see thousands of people. In fact, we can have upwards, we think, around 20 to 25,000 people to take the tours of the ships, because they have to be staged and they can only have so many people on board. So that alone will cause a lot of great visitation to occur down that area. And then the air show, we could see upwards to 50,000 people along the shores of Lake Pontchartrain. We're planning on making sure that we can accommodate that, and so that's just a touch of what we see. Of course, having the ships in the city, people crossing the bridge every day, they'll be seeing these ships, as well as the Blue Angels flying over in their practice runs as well. So it's going to be a well-serviced city that week because of that. You want to touch on the community service projects?
I can touch on a couple of those. Again, there'll be projects each day. There's going to be some projects at the city park locations down around the Lake Pontchartrain area. I know there's going to be some events there. Some of the local schools will be getting out to the local schools, sending sailors there, and having them interact with the students, and other speaking engagements out in town to allow the public to ask questions of our young sailors and Marines and get their thoughts on things, and share their experiences.
Yeah, I would just say on this note, just to again put a highlight on it, since Katrina, every major event that's come here has added a service component to the work that they have done, from the NBA All-Star Game, and they've become quite unbelievable in the amount of benefit the people of New Orleans have gotten from these major events coming. So it used to be people would just come for conventions and they would go. Now on the front end of conventions, on the back end, on the front end of big events, on the back end, are these major service projects that the people of New Orleans have benefited from tremendously, and our Chief Service Officer has been a part of helping design these efforts. They've gotten more robust. They've gotten more unbelievable. You just saw a couple of weeks ago with the BCS Championship, Nike came in and did their service projects on the front end and the back end and left a $4 million stadium as well. And so, again, this is part of a new spirit of volunteerism that's occurring in the city, and it's happening on top of and because of and in conjunction with all of these major organizations. And the Navy stepped up here to really follow in that hopefully brand new tradition that's going to last a very long time. Thank you.
And Eileen, we'll give you a complete listing of the projects and days as well.
All right. Thank you all so much.
And
Great to meet you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for all your